The faint hum of neon lights shimmered against a deep Carolina dusk. Their flicker danced across the hood of an old, dust-coated pickup truck as it rolled to a stop outside Elliot's Tap Room, a small roadside bar just off Highway 74, the kind of place where the jukebox hadn't changed songs since the 80s, and the regulars didn't either. The driver, Terrence, sat there for a moment, hands resting on the worn steering wheel. He had only been back a week. 1 week since stepping off the transport plane. 1 week since leaving behind the chaos of desert winds and the sound of gunfire. Now, all he wanted was a quiet drink and a sliver of normal life. He exhaled slowly, pushed open the creaky door, and stepped inside. Warm air greeted him, carrying the scent of spilled beer, fried food, and old wood. The bar buzzed with small town chatter, truckers trading stories, a few pool balls clacking in the distance, laughter at the counter. A Johnny Cash tune drifted softly from the jukebox, low and nostalgic. Terrence single quotes S boots, or rather, his scuffed sneakers, scuffed against the floor as he made his way toward the back. He wore his camo uniform jacket, not for show, but because it was comfortable. He wasn't there to be noticed. He was there to breathe. He found a quiet corner table with a full view of the room, sat down, and ordered nothing more than a glass of water. He wasn't looking for a buzz tonight, just stillness. As he sat there, his mind began to wander to his mother's cooking, to his niece's bright laugh when she'd see him again, to the quiet peace of a home-cooked meal after months of combat rations. That thought made him smile faintly. Then the door slammed open. The sound echoed across the room like a crack of thunder. 6 men walked in. Older, rougher, wearing leather jackets marked with faded insignias, the kind that shouted Veteran Biker Club. They were loud, all bravado and laughter as they stomped toward the bar. Terrence gave them a casual glance, then went back to his drink, but one of them stopped. A tall, broad man with a salt and pepper beard and eyes that cut like glass. Froze mid-laugh, staring at Terrence, and said something under his breath. His friends followed his gaze. The laughter faded. The air in the bar shifted. Conversations quieted just slightly, enough for everyone to feel that something had changed. Terrence didn't look up again. He'd seen that kind of stare before. The one that measured you, doubted you, stripped you down in silence. He ignored it, focusing instead on the hum of Johnny Cash and the condensation on his glass. But at the bar, the group began whispering, voices low and sharp. One chuckled in a mean-spirited way, casting another look toward the corner. The leader smirked, and that was enough. The sound of boots on wood echoed again, deliberate, heavy. They were heading toward him. The bartender paused mid-pour. The room's energy coiled tight. The leader stopped a few feet away from Terrence's table. He didn't ask permission. He didn't smile. Just barked, nice uniform. Where'd you get it? A Halloween store? The others burst out laughing. Terrence slowly looked up, eyes calm, expression steady. It's mine, he said quietly. Earned it. The man tilted his head, mocking curiosity. Earned it, huh? That's funny, 'cause real soldiers don't wear sneakers. He stepped closer, the smell of beer heavy in the air. Come on, man. You looking for free drinks? Sympathy? Terrence's jaw flexed slightly, but his tone never wavered. I'm just here to enjoy my evening. The man leaned in close enough that Terrence could see the deep lines in his face. You don't look like a soldier to me. Where's your tags? Your boots? Hell, do you even know how to salute? The laughter rose again. Mockery, cruel, empty. Terrence stayed quiet. His calm wasn't weakness, it was restraint. Years of discipline. Years of holding back when every instinct screamed otherwise. I don't need to prove anything to you, he said evenly. That calm tone, that unbothered control, irritated the man more than a punch ever could. He leaned closer, his shadow swallowing the table. You think you're some kind of hero, huh? Walking in here like you belong? Terrence looked up at him, his voice low, but his words cut through the tension like glass. I served 3 tours overseas. I don't need your approval to belong anywhere. For a moment, the laughter stopped. The leader blinked, unsure, but pride always wins over reason. Yeah, he sneered. Then prove it. Show us your tag, soldier boy. Otherwise, you're a liar. The rest of the group shifted uneasily. They weren't so sure anymore. But no one spoke up. Terrence sighed quietly. I don't owe you proof. And if you're thinking about starting something, I'd think twice. The silence in the bar deepened. The bartender's hand hovered near the phone. The regulars held their breath. The leader smirked. Big words. He took a step closer. Let's see if your fists can back him up. Before anyone could react, he lunged. But Terrence was faster. Years of reflexes took over. He sidestepped, caught the man's wrist, twisted, and pushed him face down onto the table in one smooth motion. The thud echoed. The man let out a cry of pain, sharp, shocked, human. The bar went silent. All eyes were on them. Terrence held the man down just firmly enough. Not out of rage, but control. I told you, he said quietly, his voice calm but cold. You should have thought twice. The biker's friends froze, unsure whether to move. One finally spoke. Hey, man, just let him go. He didn't mean nothing. Terrence looked at him, unblinking. He came at me. You all saw it. Then he released the leader, pushing him back just enough to make the point clear. The man, Hank, one of them called him, stumbled back, clutching his arm. His pride hurt worse than his wrist. Call the cops, he barked. This guy's a fake, assaulted me while pretending to be a soldier. The bar erupted in uneasy murmurs. One of his friends fumbled with a phone, dialing 911. Terrence stayed still. Calm, breathing slow. He knew exactly how bad this could look. A black man, in uniform but not regulation perfect, standing over a local biker leader. But panic had never helped anyone. Moments later, the sound of sirens split the air. Red and blue lights painted the bar's windows. 2 officers stepped inside. One tall, built like a linebacker, mirrored shades even at night. The other, a woman with clear, steady eyes and a calm authority that quieted the room. What's going on here? The male officer asked. Hank pointed immediately. That guy assaulted me. He's impersonating a soldier. Look at him. The officers turned toward Terrence. He didn't flinch. No, sir, he said calmly. They confronted me. He tried to grab me. I defended myself. The female officer scanned the room. Anyone see what happened? The bartender raised a hand. I did. Hank threw the first move. The soldier defended himself. A murmur of agreement rippled through the bar. One man near the jukebox called out. Yeah, he didn't start nothing. Hank was running his mouth again. The officers exchanged a glance. Do you have proof of service, sir? The male officer asked. Yes, sir. Terrence gestured to the duffel by his chair. My uniform and ID are inside. The officer opened the bag carefully. Inside, perfectly folded fatigues, official patches, name tag, rank insignia. The female officer nodded. The male cop straightened up. You're clear, he said firmly. Thank you for your cooperation. Hank's face flushed red. You're just taking his word for it? He could have faked all that. The female officer turned to him sharply. Enough. From what we've heard, you started this. You're lucky he's not pressing charges. That shut him down instantly. His friends avoided eye contact. The officers turned back to Terrence. Thank you for keeping your cool, the woman said. We'll file a report. You did the right thing. Terrence nodded. Thank you, officers. They left. The bikers followed, humiliated. Hank muttering something under his breath as the door shut behind him. The bar slowly exhaled. The sound of conversation returned. cautious but lighter now. Terrence sat back, the adrenaline fading. He didn't feel anger, just exhaustion. People looked at him differently now, not with doubt, but quiet respect. Days later, the late sun dipped low over the North Carolina trees. Terrence stood in his driveway, sleeves rolled up, working on his old pickup. The world was peaceful again, the way he liked it. Then, the sound of gravel crunching. A motorcycle rolled up the drive. Terrence looked up. It was one of the bikers. A smaller guy, though nervous, shifting from foot to foot as he took off his helmet. "Terrence, right?" he asked quietly. Terrence didn't reply, just waited. Bill swallowed. "I came to apologize," he said finally. "What happened at the bar, that was wrong. I should have stopped it." Terrence's brow lifted slightly. "You were part of it," Bill nodded, shame coloring his face. "I know. Hank gets loud, people follow. I did too. But you didn't deserve that. And the way you handled yourself, it stuck with me. I've been thinking about it ever since." Silence. Only the hum of cicadas in the trees. Terrence leaned against the truck, folding his arms. "Why now?" Bill looked down. "Because it's the right thing to do. I've seen enough hate in my life. I don't want to be part of it anymore." Terrence studied him. The sincerity was real. Finally, he nodded. "Apology accepted," he said quietly. "Doesn't erase what happened, but it's a start." Bill looked relieved, like a weight had lifted. "Thanks, man," he said softly. "Really?" He put his helmet back on and rode away, disappearing down the dusty road. Terrence watched until the sound faded. Then he looked up at the sunset, gold against the trees. The encounter at the bar had been ugly, but what came after mattered more. Because sometimes change starts small. One conversation, one apology, one man deciding to do better.